Hello, SLAPAFISH community. Welcome back to another Tanks console video. So in this video, I'm going to be going over all the changes that happened to the Type 5 line. Exactly what I did to the IS-4 line, I'm going to be doing to the Type 5 line. So the Type 5 line, all the tanks that were changed were the Type 5, the Type 4, the OHO, the ONI, and the OI experimental. So let's get off this website and let's actually go to this spreadsheet that took a very long time to put together. So let's talk about the changes first. Then we'll talk about the guns. So the armor went up from the front to 260 to 270. The upper whole corners went from 250 to 270. What does that mean? So if I go over here to the tank GG. So on console, this went to 270. This went to 270. Like all of this went to 270. This is no longer a weak point, and this is no longer a weak point on console. And this went to 270. So that's basically all that changed. And this went to 270 also. Okay? So yeah, that's what changed in the armor department. And now let's go back to the gun department. So I don't know why I'm calling departments. So anyway, the 14 centimeter and the 15 centimeter guns both changed. Let's talk about the 15 centimeter first. So the 15 centimeter, obviously, it's the rate of fire went up. I mean, the damage went up for its first shell from 1,100 to 1,300, which in return brought the DPM up from 3,300 to 3,900. Also, that is a high explosive shell, so you're going to be hitting people a lot harder if you don't even penetrate. Also, on your premium shell of that same gun, which I believe is a heat round, the premium penetration went from 264 to 330. On the 15 centimeter, the accuracy went from 0.5 to 0.45. The turret rotation dispersion went from 0.22 to 0.2. Also, the tank got faster. It got a better engine from 1200 to 1500, which gave it a horsepower per ton from 8 to 10. Now let's talk about the 14 centimeter. Also, after-shot dispersion on the 150 millimeter gun went from 4.5 to 4. Now let's talk about the 14 centimeter gun on the Type 5. The penetration went up on its second shell from 282 to 310, and its rate of fire went from 3.39 to 3.51, which gave it a DPM of 2,030. From 2034 to 2106. And its turret rotation accuracy went from 0.14 to 0.12. So that's pretty good. And now let's go talk about the Type 4. So the Type 4 didn't get any armor upgrades, but it did get engine upgrades, and its gun messed with a little. All of its gun, actually. So, the engine, the upgraded engine, its horsepower went from 1200 to 1400, so you went from a horsepower per ton to 7.41 to 8.66. The stock engine is now better at 1100 to 1300, which the stock engine upgraded now. The stock engine now is actually better than the upgraded engine before the buffs, which is actually the interesting thing right there. So, the upgraded gun. So, the final gun that you get on the Type 4 is the 15 centimeter. What did they do to it? So, they brought the damage up from 1,100 to 1,300, and they brought the penetration on its second round, which is premium, from 264 to 330. Which in return made the potential damage went up and DPM go up. Now, the gun handling went from 3.2 to 3.1. Turret rotation dispersion went from 0.24 to 0.22. Now, that's the 15 centimeter. Let's go to the 14 centimeter. Penetration went up on its premium round from 282 to 310. and its rate of fire went from 20.8 to 19. Reload went from 20.8 to 19. Rate of fire went from 2.88 to 3.16, which in return made its DPM go up. Its aim time went from 2.9 to 2.7. Its turret rotation went from 0.16 to 0.14, and that is dispersions. Now, after shot dispersion on the 15 centimeter, it went from 5 to 0.45. 5 to 4.5 on the 15 centimeter. So basically, you'll be more accurate after you fire the big gun, after you fire the 15 centimeter. Now, the OHO. The OHO got a decent amount of armor buffs. So let me actually go to here. It glitches out a little. So basically, whole armor went from 200 to 230. That's the overall armor. So whole armor went to 200 to 230. So that means, let's go to Tank GG right quick and go to the OHO. That means this spot is now 230 on console. This entire spot is 230. Right there. This entire plate. And right there is 230. And right there is 230. Yep. So that's actually a lot of armor buffs. Now if we go back to this tank. Upper slope hull plate went from 105 to 110. So basically what they're talking about is this plate right here. This plate is now 110 on console. So this plate, that's purple right there. Now if I go back to Tanks Reforged, turret frontal armor went from 200 to 250. That's actually a ton because, yeah, this went to 250 right there. Right there. 250, which is insane. Commantlets for all guns went from 200 to 250, which actually is just this gun. I don't know if that's a typo or they forgot to upgrade the armor for this and this, because this is still 200 and 200 on console. I've looked and I was like, okay, that's weird. I don't know if it's a typo on the website or they just forgot to buff the OHO's mini turrets from 200 to 250. I don't know. Anyway, that's enough about the armor of the OHO. So the upgraded gun of the OHO is the 10 centimeter experimental tank gun Kai. Its accuracy went from 0.42 to 0.36. Aim time went from 3.1 to 2.3, which is actually massive. Its second gun, which is its middle gun, got an accuracy buff. Its stock gun got a DPM buff, which its rate of fire went from 5.71 to 6.67, and its aim time got a buff, and its accuracy got a buff. So let's talk about the ONI. Now the ONI only got its guns buffed. So the upgraded gun got its aim time and accuracy buff. Its middle gun got its aim time and accuracy buff. And the stock gun got its DPM buff from 5.45 to 5.71, which is rate of fire. And its aim time and accuracy got buffed on its stock gun. Now the OI experimental only got armor buffs. So if I actually scroll down to here, to the OI experimental. So now the OI experimental, I actually forgot to pull it up. Oops. No idea why I selected that. So now let's look at the tank reforged truck rate. So 75 to 130. That's actually insane. Like, that's for the turret and the whole armor. and which is almost on par with the OI at tier 6. 1 tier higher. So I'm actually bringing up the armor right quick on my console. So the turret armor went from 75 to 130. So this is actually stronger on console. This is 130 on console. Are the mini turrets? Yeah. The front of the mini turrets are now 130. This is 130 also. If I go back to Tank Reforged, let's see, Gunmantlet, I showed that off, showed that off, showed that off. Now the 75 to the 85 is actually that upper plate. Not upper plate, ooh, I didn't. Hello. Is actually this plate. That plate is the one that went from 75 to 85. So this is actually right. It's basically now matched up the console, PC. So this is now 85 on console, which this is how effective it is. So it's pretty nice. It's a weak point. Armor panel 75 to 130. Already showed that one off. Armor panel 75 to 115, which is not much actually. It's not really much. Basically, we're talking about this turret right here. This is 130. This is 130. This is 130 now. So basically, this mini turret right here got armor buff. From 75 on console? Was it 75? It was 75. No, it was 75 to 115. I'm just dumb and have no idea what numbers are. Anyway, so this is 115 on console, 115 and 115. So that's it for this video. If you like this video, remember to like, comment, subscribe. Also, remember to SLAPAFISH because we're not, and peace out. See ya.